States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everybody.
Is the bar mic on down there?
Yep. All up and running, are we? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Dave, second by Carl, all in favor?
Aye. So is that the amended one then?
Oh, yes, we need to amend the agenda to authorize the chairman to sign the Title VI non-discrimination assurances. And then also under drainage, Rick had called DD number 125, review pond change order, and authorize the chairman to sign.
So you wanna re-motion?
Yeah, you'll probably have to amend your...
Amend the motion.
Okay.
I second the amendment.
Okay, all in favor of this
Aye.
change? Motion carries. Approve the minutes at 7:24.
I looked through and I didn't see any corrections, so I'll make a motion to approve.
Second that motion.
I have a first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Anyone from the public? It doesn't appear that way, so we'll move on to Dean. Come on up and let us know how veteran affairs is going.
Morning.
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 Join the crowd.
Seems like he can go without here for a while, right there.
That's right. Well, I've got some good news, some bad news. The good news is we, have been taking care of our veterans real well. The bad news is, in the fourth quarter, we went over budget.
I had a feeling that was the bad part.
Where'd you guess that?
I don't know why.
Just more paper if you want it.
Morning, Bob.
Morning.
Anyway, the budget, for the fourth quarter, we're over $6,870. $4,500 of that is consisted of, the county services that we supply, basically the rent, the food, the utility, Mid-America. We were over for that fourth quarter by $4,589. The balance of that is comprised of some additional advertising I did, and transportation to the hospitals was rather high. So that comprised the $6,870. For the year, we're over budget by $7,500. Again, a lot of that is, again, comprised of the county services that we give out, and the additional things such as transportation to the VA hospitals. Advertising was high overall for the year, which I consciously did because I was getting some good responses out of that from veterans, and I plan on continuing to do that as we move forward.
Dean, do you think that we didn't budget enough, or just a unique year we had?
Well, it was, the first three quarters were pretty much in line, and then the fourth quarter just kind of went to heck. And,
I just checked the county budget, and he didn't go over as far as the county budget went. You may have on your accounting, but not as far as...
Yeah, you added what? You added,
We did some departmental appropriations back and forth at the end of the year and gave him some additional money. So he had like $685 left at the end of the year.
That's good.
So I just wanted to be sure he went over, so he didn't get written up in a
Mhm.
audit.
So, when you say you did more advertising, you're getting more responses, or are you getting more veterans that are using the facilities or services that we offer?
More veterans that are using the services,
Which is a good thing.
which is a good thing, yeah. I've had veterans come in, didn't even know, they saw something in there about license plates or something like that, and they said, well, you know, I'd like to get license plates, and the more I talk to them, the more I find out, you know, they're a Vietnam vet that's never used the services, and one in particular, ended up getting, he's got diabetes too, which is, Agent Orange related, so he was able to get, compensation of around $1,200 a month because of that, so. So, yeah, it's paid off, it really has.
And most of those people that use the services, those that need them, you have some that don't need them and just cheap way out? Probably not.
That's hard really to put an answer to. Sometimes you wonder, but, you know, I'm there to service these guys. And I'd say 99% of them are legit. And you have a few, but it's very, very few that are trying to pull a fast one on you.
Mhm.
I mean, most of them are legit, and,
They're in need.
they're neat, yeah. There's an organization called FAVA, which I've been kind of working with. It's Family Alliance of Veterans of America, and they get a grant from the federal government. They cover 44 counties, and they're out of, where's Winnebago at? Forest City.
Forest City, yeah.
And that's where their headquarters out of. And they now have placed 2 veterans in Humboldt County. And their whole drive objective is to find housing for veterans that have no housing or are just about ready to lose their housing. So we've got a couple of veterans here, possibly a third one, that are in need of housing. This organization found the housing. They cover their first so many months' rent. I've talked to both these guys. Both of them are Afghanistan vets. To answer your question again, these guys are definitely in need of help.
So that home-based Iowa might help them too.
Yeah, that's kind of gone really slow, at least up here, because there are opportunities in Humboldt County, but not like you do in the cities and those areas. As far as I know, we have not capitalized anything on home-based Iowa to date.
So those 2 guys, are they able to work? Are
They're able to work.
have they got jobs?
Both of them were, the last time I talked to them about 2 weeks ago, both of them were pursuing something. But I don't know where they stand today. I just received a check from the state. Every year we get $10,000 from the state to use for all of the things in the offices, advertising, VA transportation for veterans to the hospital, to software, anything of that nature. So they give us $10,000. Well, this year they cut that down to $9,575. They want to save money, and that's not going to save a lot, but that's what they did. And so I got that check today, so I'll give that to the Treasury, right? Yeah. And pending claims, right now we average around 26 a month that we have waiting for some type of an answer from the VA, or whether the veterans will get compensation or not. I don't know if you guys read the paper, I'm sure you all did, it's a good paper. But this book is being handed out to all Vietnam vets or Vietnam-era vets. And it's free to the veterans. It's a good book. So far, I've since the 6th of July, I've handed out 52 of these. So I'm getting a good response from everybody on these. Anybody wants to look at that, they're more than welcome to. Fundraisers for this year, the Hy-Vee, the VFW Fun Run and the Fairway, I think we've generated about $8,500. And I think on 4th of July, they had a 5K run, and they generated another $1,800 from that run. Next flight is September 16th, and it looks like nothing's been etched in stone on that, but it looks like they definitely will have a flight next May, and possibly another one in September of 18, but that one's questionable yet.
So, for the next one in September, how many we got from around here?
We got 10.
Yeah. Wow, we're still hitting that many.
Yeah.
Good, that's
Yeah.
really good.
Well, whoever came out with these books said there was roughly 160 Vietnam vets or Vietnam era in Humboldt County, which I think is a little bit low myself. But they gave me 160 of these books to pass out. So, whoever came up with that number, I'm not sure how they did that, but every county got so many books. Like Webster County they got almost 800 books, I think.
Can you purchase a copy of that book, Dean? Or it's available someplace?
When you wanna read it?
Yeah, I really enjoy that.
Here you go.
But you haven't got one?
Here.
Yeah, okay. No, I'll borrow it.
I've got plenty of them right now.
You sure?
Yeah.
I don't want, no, I
Just give it back when you're done.
thoroughly enjoy these things. Yeah, it's hard to believe 50th commemoration, how long ago that's been.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
But that's all I've got. Does anybody else have any other questions?
I'll make a motion, we accept Dean's report for quarterly report.
First thing, second by Carl. Oh,
I heard Dave.
Oh, I'm sorry, I heard Carl. All right,
First by Commissioner, second by Dave.
all right.
Okay,
Whatever.
back to Dave, okay.
Direction,
Or whatever.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion
That
carries.
was all aye.
You want these back, Dean, so I don't throw it
Yeah.
out? Let's give Dean back the sheets.
Okay.
Oh, making Peggy down there have a hole in her paper.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, this morning.
Look at that book.
I really, no problem.
Okay, thanks, Dean.
Sure.
Been running since I got up, so might as well keep going.
Keep up the good work.
Let's
Thank
go
you.
down and do committee reports.
Thank you.
I had a good week. My USMO meeting was called, my CFR meeting was called, but it all got pushed to this week, so
It didn't go away.
it really didn't go away, it just got moved up a week, so I didn't have anything last week.
I suppose I'm on tap.
You are,
The
sir.
18th, I went to the foreman's meeting out County Shed. They had the foreman there, and they reviewed their workloads, and talked about safety and those kind of things. Pretty good meeting, really. I saw a lot of give and take in that meeting. Then on, I'll try to be with you in 2 minutes here, Dean. I got 7 pages, you don't listen to me. On Thursday, I took off for Columbus, Ohio. Friday, we had meetings for 2 days, mainly on Ag and Rural Affairs Committee. Melvin Hauser from Council Bluffs and I were on that committee, and there's probably 50 of us sitting around the room. It was kind of interesting. We had lots of good speakers. We had a lot of discussion about the Farm Bill, GMO labeling. You'll hear more about that probably. Direct federal funding, trying to get direct federal funding, you know, instead of having on the highways, come to the states and the locals, that kind of discussion. Then on Friday, we went through the same thing again, only we had resolutions and accepted some of those. A lot of discussions around childhood, poverty. They said that for every $1 invested in childhood, you get $7 return, childhood education. All kinds of poverty in rural areas particularly. And the big factor determining poverty seemed to be affordable housing. You heard Dean talk about that a while ago. People with affordable housing, mental health, and community infrastructure. In other words, you could have a housing, but they gotta have a job too. So those kind of things they harped on a little bit. Under Secretary of Agriculture, Annette Hazelman, she was a direct appointment of the Secretary of Agriculture, was the speaker that day. Let's see, then on Friday we had, on Saturday we had opening ceremony. Let's get to some of those things. Exhibit hall's open, Secretary Sonny Perdue spoke. Louis Dodds, former newscaster for CNN News, was kind of interesting to listen to. It makes a difference between you Democrat and Republican. He picked on both of them. In fact, some of the guys from Johnson County got so perturbed they got them walked out, I think. It was kind of fun to listen to. Sunday we had another general session. I went to a breakfast Sunday morning sponsored by Edna Health, and they talked about poverty again there, and the need to have good health insurance and coverage for people that live in the United States. I went to one meeting on retirement, and they talked about benefits. They talked to you, Peggy, and me both on that. There's a benefit program that we probably ought to sign our county workers up to. It wouldn't cost us anything, but so many people get to be 60, 65 years old, and they don't have a retirement. You start putting a little bit away, and some counties can match that if you want to. There's a free program offered by NAGO that we probably ought to take a look at. Peggy, you got more information on that tonight. Another good session I went to was civics education, public information. A couple of years ago, we had a program out there where you get a curriculum for schools, and they still have that, so you revived it a little bit. There's a video that we can get through service clubs and so forth, shows what we do, and it's kind of an interesting thing. I want to follow up on that a little bit. And then went to a couple of cyber security meetings. Boy, that's scary. Every time you go to a meeting, you hear about what's going to happen if you don't watch out. Ransomware, vendors, you plug into one of your vendors and you can get in trouble that way. You have employees that are a little bit lax. Even if you use your own computer at home on courthouse business, you can get in trouble that way too. It's just scary as heck. One night I had a little free time. We drove around and went down to see the University of Ohio State's football stadium. That's quite a place. So it was all work and no play. Monday morning we had workforce development, labor trends, breakfast, talked about, again, a lot of poverty discussion, education, jobs. One of the problems that they were saying there, too many schools, and I think Humboldt's like that, we designate, we zero in on everybody getting a BS degree. There's a lot of people that need vocational training. We have to fill all kinds of jobs. Not all of them require a 4-year degree, and that's being a problem. Everybody wants their kid to be a PhD. We need bus drivers, we need welders, we need all kinds of people, and we kind of forget about that. We had a business meeting later on that day. The guy that climbed a mountain, the 14 highest mountains, give him a motivation speech. Ed Festers talked about one time he was within 300 feet of the top of a mountain when a blizzard came in. Just for safety reasons, he stayed there for 2 weeks in a tent before he went to the last 300 feet. Talk about safety and stick-to-itiveness and so forth. Then we had you probably heard of this, Piper Kerman, the gal that was incarcerated for 13 months in prison. And the purple is now black. Talk about when she got out of prison, she's helping people get back on their feet, kind of a program.
The movie Orange is the New Black.
Oh, yeah.
Not the movie that is series on
That's
TV.
right.
Was patterned after her.
One of the highlights, I think, we had a conference dinner one day, Peggy, we up on the stage, I gave you guys a picture of that. The auditors in the state of Iowa have provided a program, written a program for voting. Peggy, you can tell about that program, but anyway, Peggy and the president, they go and a couple people from Iowa on the stage, you can see that, I'm kind of proud of them. And I think that, I'll just shut up and let Peggy finish up. We were together there, we had a lot of good speakers. You couldn't hit them all, you probably had 50 every day going, so you have to pick out what you want. Peggy, you got something to say?
Yeah, they had, I didn't realize we were gonna get an award until Rachel had called me a couple weeks ahead of time and said that she had submitted our project to NACO for an award. And I think I have it marked as to what kind of award it is, but civic education and public information is what it came through. But it's on elections, it's how to help people in Iowa that hadn't voted before, learn how to register, learn what you do when you go to the polls, sure you're not afraid, how to request an absentee if you can't get to the polls. There were 3 different types of videos. And they went out to all the schools, they went out to colleges, they've been seen by quite a few people. So it was quite an honor to get an achievement award. There's a lot of people that apply for those awards. So,
One of the top awards of the day, there's a right at the bottom right there.
Congratulations.
Well, yeah, it is very, good thing to get an award for, to help people.
and during the video, there's a little blip of Grant Veeder from Blackhawk County and myself. I'm in there just as a cameo here and there, so.
Peggy showed this video at Rotary one time,
Yep.
and they really enjoy it. It talks about how you get in and how you vote. Everybody needs to see that.
Yeah. We made them fun, short, so they weren't too boring. I also went to a couple of the cybersecurity meetings that Carl did too with the courthouse here. We're very fortunate we have solutions, and they're constantly upgrading our security on our system. But you can't always have everything. I mean, there's always someone, and that's the thing they kept trying to drill into you. There's always someone one step ahead of you. Someone always doing something, always be vigilant, always be watching. But it's just scary what's going on out there and what could happen, and so easily it might happen. So you just keep watching.
Really make a mess of things in a short
Oh,
time.
my goodness, can it ever?
I would encourage anybody to go to these conferences if you get a chance.
They're very good, yes, and I brought a couple of the extra achievement awards brochures back, plus the NACO annual report, if anybody wants to look at them. I went in to see, my first meeting was on a county talk, and they were supposed to go over 20 minutes or less, anything that counties would want to discuss, and the speaker never showed up.
Oh.
So that was kind of, we sat there and waited, and we waited, so sometimes they don't. The general session, I very much enjoyed Piper Kerman with her speech about how she's turned her life around and trying to make things better now. We had our Iowa caucus meeting, which was us getting together, deciding how we were going to vote the next day, making sure our credentials were all in order, and ended up we didn't have to do anything with the vote because there was the only person running for second vice president, and she got in.
Yeah, from Omaha.
They made it easy.
Oh, somebody from Omaha?
What else? Like I said, most of mine were security things.
What's the other thing about these meetings, you sit there
General sessions and the,
and you may be talking to somebody in Hawaii, maybe somebody in Alaska, but everybody's got the same problem.
Yeah.
One time I sat in a group and the people from Hawaii talking about bridges and roads, I didn't think about that. Everybody's got ways of solving problems, so.
And you learn a lot from other people when you just sit, like at a round table and listen to them discuss. One of the breakout sessions I went to was on how to get your community to all join together. Like, we've got partnerships with the school and partnerships with the state. Some of them don't have that, and they need to find the tools to pull everybody together on some of those joint projects that all are involved with.
Next year it's down national. Might report that Peggy didn't cost the county too much money, but she got a lot of her paid for it, and so did high school.
Yeah.
So.
Mine is totally funded by ISAC, so.
But it's worthwhile, even if it costs you money.
Hawaii's probably doesn't have near as many frost heaves.
Probably not.
Theirs is probably all heat related.
I was sitting in a meeting once in Gallup, Alaska, I said, where you from? She said, I'm from Phil Peterson, Alaska. I rode in a taxi cab with you out. years ago, now she remembered.
It must have made an impression.
You're note-taking.
I must have been in trouble.
Yeah.
Anyway, I encourage you all to go. It's hectic, 4 days of it, but you feel like you really
You
come
get
back.
a lot of walking, if you wanna get your walking in, you get lots of walking in.
Enough said, I got a whole pile of things here, different junk I picked up. Policy legislation and so on, some of it on farm program and some on workforce development. Peggy, you had a manual and all the different choices you could go to.
Lady
Anybody
there,
wants to that, take it home, otherwise it gets thrown away.
was that one lady there fighting the GMO again?
Oh, yeah, in the
Roundup sterilizes the world.
the rural action caucus, people from southern Hawaii, they hate everything about GMO.
Absolutely
It
hate
used to be almost a fight.
Oh, yeah. They're very passionate. Yeah.
That's just a natural phenomenon, you know, that's happening anyway. Anyway, so much for my report.
Okay, on Monday, I had a VA meeting. That was the 24th. 26th, I had a Midas meeting for Dodge. Thursday, the 27th, we had a conference call with Workforce Development. I guess the CEOs, county elected officials, there's 5 counties, there's 5 of us on the board. And we set some of the standards and the rules they go by. So we had a conference call on to go over some of them. That's all I had last week.
On Tuesday, the 25th, I had a decategorization board meeting. And I'm still trying to get my mind around it. I talked to another one of the board members who's been on there for maybe a couple terms. He's still trying to get his mind around it. It's a lot of stuff going on with that board. But there's no issues, no problems other than your normal board things. It's moving forward, the money's there. It's just a lot of facets to that particular decategorization. So, very interesting, but it's always something going on with it. But anyway, had that meeting on the 25th.
I want to thank Rick, he also covered one of my meetings for me. Community Services supposed to be meeting in Fayette County, I couldn't get back.
Was it Owine they met?
I think so.
Yeah. I know.
Anyway, he took the call and
Yeah, that was at 10 o'clock on Wednesday. And I think Kathy went over to it, was there personally. She was gonna drive over, and it sounded like Bob Lincoln, he was pushing more for the 4-county regional type setting. Because right now, what is it, 22 counties?
yeah.
And they thought they'd get better service that way, and they're gonna try to get more individualized people. Certain person's just gonna do housing for the 4 counties, and one person will do, more individualized, so they're more educated, I guess. And that was supposed to go an hour, and at an hour and a half, I had to meet with some people, so it was still going at 11:30. So it got pretty lengthy.
Some typical.
That's pretty typical,
Yeah.
but, yeah. And other than that, that's all I had. Okay, what else do you have for us? Peggy?
I've got some things for you to sign, but that's probably it. Unless you wanna do the things we added, or one of the things we added at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
That Title VI.
Mhm.
John Beatty sent this down, and he said, I asked him if he was gonna be here, and he said he couldn't because of court, but it's a policy providing that we will treat people fairly regardless of race, sex, religion, origin, or any of that. If you have any questions, you could table it, but it's something that we need to have on file. He's got it all filled out, I believe I gave you copies of it.
Okay. Well, let's kind of ties in that Title VI thing, so let's go ahead and take care of that, I guess.
I move we have the chairman sign the standard title non-discrimination policy or order, whatever you call it. Says DOT order number such and such.
Right. Mhm.
Yeah.
1050.2.
Is this an ongoing agreement?
Yeah.
This been on file, I guess we could...
Well, I don't know if it's been on file, but I know that they've said before that we've needed this for certain grants and stuff that we get from the federal government for repairs on bridges and roads. And to my knowledge, it's not been there unless Paul has had it, his office.
I'll second Carl's motion.
Any more discussion on Title VI? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay.
Other stuff is just, this one I need you to sign off on, and I can catch you later on.
It's really, really cold here, is there?
Oh, yeah, I'll get some vents for you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, can I get a motion to go into drainage?
I'll make a motion to go to drainage.
Second that.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Move into drainage.
Talking about being cold, those meetings we went to out in Columbia,
Oh, yeah, you guys
it must
are
have been
awful.
50 degrees now, there were people wearing their, if you ever go to a meeting, wear your top coat. It was worse than this by 100%.
Okay. They don't want you falling asleep in there, do they?
You go outside for a half hour, get warmed up, and then go back in.
Yes, yes. How was it set up? 'Cause, no thanks. How was it set up for hotel accommodations and stuff? Was there a lot of shuttling, or was it?
We happened to be the right across the skywalk.
Oh, it did, that was...
Really worked.
Half?
Some of them had a couple.
Two-thirds
Okay. Peggy gets on the line, gets us in early.
Yeah,
She just walked across the sidewalk, right to the meeting.
that's good.
That'll work.
Thank you. There you go. Yeah, anybody else with
Put
good
in
thoughts?
paper.
Louise?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's the best we can do to warm you up.
Okay.
Ken, did you
We'll
get
do
that?
what we can.
That picture come through, I sent you for.
Yes.
What you can do at the hospital is really tell people they can propose to keep infections down,
Yeah.
keep the germs
You
down.
give me two.
The heck I did.
You.
Good Peggy one.
Got there's plenty. Forgot to tell you something. Cubs win. 2 out of 3 against the Brewers. How'd you like that?
Here comes Marshall coming back up, so.
It was a competitive series, so.
Oh, yeah.
Scoring games.
Morning sunshine. And sun and sunshine.
Dark clouds.
Dark clouds. There you go.
Reaper.
I saw a basketball game, but that was Esterville, Lincoln, Whiteville.
Lincoln Central.
They played in Minneapolis, a bunch of girls, really good.
Oh,
Got
the younger ones coming up are pretty good.
second place in the whole tournament.
Whoa. Okay. Not all the bids will fit on this because we have 5 of them, but this gives you my estimate. And I'll give you this. No, this is Louise Piper's, Mansky's doing the other one.
How did we, you were gonna check the elevation on that, remember the...
Limestone?
Yeah.
Yes, and Nancy couldn't get there. I called him as far as getting on the Burns property. He said he'd check. Before that happened, I talked to Brian Yemlin, and he got permission. We're gonna be out there hopefully about 10 o'clock. So, yeah. We'll know yet today, hopefully.
He's out there right now.
Who would like to keep track of bids? We'll be doing bids.
We call Dennis. I would assume.
Oh, very good.
Okay.
Oh.
Did you want one?
Okay.
Okay, it's after 9, so we can have the DD, the 2 lateral, any bid light.
Just very quickly, I gave you this sheet with all the lines on it. That is a space, there's a space for the contractor's name and then for each of the options. We looked at half-inch coefficient for concrete, 1 inch for concrete, half-inch for polypropylene, 1 inch for polypropylene. So we're gonna get you all of those read here in short order, hopefully. First one will be from Denver Underground. Denver, Iowa. I'll be checking their bid bonds first.
Nope.
Bid bond has been provided.
So are you gonna read them according to the way you have them wrote out here, so we don't have a...
I hope so. I don't remember how they were in the bid form. We'll know in a moment. Okay, let's see here. Okay, we'll start with the half-inch with RCP. Total bid, $215,784 even. 215,784. 1 inch with RCP. Hey, we're going the right way here. Total, $259,581 even. 259,581. They did not supply bids for the polypropylene. Next one will be from Holland Contracting, Oak City. Bid bond has been provided? Yeah, I'm glad.
Very nice conversation. This was good.
You're a good man.
Yes, we are.
Okay, bid from Holland. Half inch with RCP, $199,568.80, 199,568.80. 1 inch with RCP, $254,908.40, 254,908.40. Half inch with polypropylene, $318,973.80, 318,973.80. 1 inch with PP pipe, $359,958.80.
359, 958, 80?
That's what I had.
Okay.
Yes. Next one will be from Meyer Tiling and Backhoe out of Curlew.
Is that M-Y or M-I?
M-Y-E-R.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you betcha.
Curlew.
Provide a certified check for bid security. Okay.
Free cup of coffee if you know where Curlew is.
I know where it is. I
Yeah,
drive through there all the
drive
time.
by there all the time.
It's a blimp, yeah. You curve there.
Off the road.
Yep, that's right. The total bid for half inch RCP, $300,000 even. Now that's rounding it off. 300,000. 1 inch with RCP, 338,000 even, 338,000. Half inch poly, 333,696, 333,696. 1 inch with poly, 363,476, $363,476. Next one, Reutzel Excavating, R-E-U-T-Z-E-L, out of Burt.
Is that
Bid bond is in order. Option one, 1 inch, half inch with RCP, $236,992. $236,992. Option two, 1 inch with RCP, $268,860. $268,860. Option four, option three, half inch with PP, $235,290.50. 235,290.50. Option four, 1 inch with poly, $280,733 even, 280,733. Last one here is from Wunsch, W-U-N-S-C-H.
Can you say that again, Rick?
Wunsch, W-U-N-S-C-H. They are from Green, Iowa. Bid bond has been provided. Option one, from Wunsch, $241,740.65, 241,740.65. Option two, $291,975.10, 291,975.10. They did not bid the poly. What we do is just take a few minutes and check this for low bid. And,
Your numbers out.
yeah.
Just on a side note, I had a conversation with Holland over the weekend with this project up east of town. It sounds like things are getting all settled up there. INS is getting ready to get the completion here put together, and, you know, they seem very good spirits and all of this, so glad to see that come back with a good, very competitive bid again.
Very.
So, and they were a good company to work with.
Very good.
They got a little plan to... Yeah.
Anybody want to help discuss what drainage will work?
On the private versus drainage district, number 11, that's in flux. Best I can tell you.
Still negotiating between each other.
Talking amongst themselves. We got a little extra information here. And, you know, that's kind of where they're at, trying to get through
talked to everybody within the group?
Yes, they
Mail,
They have thought. There's some concerns there, we've addressed some of them.
Who's low on the 1 inch with concrete?
There's some concerns there.
Well, it's either way, 1 inch or half inch. Whatever they decide. That's the way I have it.
You said Reitzel was low on the 1 inch, or who was? Oh. Okay.
Rice was on the poly and Holland on the other.
Okay. There it is. But the 1 inch with RCP, who?
How?
Okay.
That's what I have anyway.
Okay, I'll check this.
What was the desire of the group? Do they want half inch or 1 inch?
What is
half
the
inch?
desire of the landowners in the general
Well,
area?
we're kinda talking towards 1 inch. I don't know, I don't know anything. If you guys, about drainage.
We don't either.
Medicine, maybe yes, the kitchen, maybe yes. Anyway, if you people have any valuable input, please.
Well, all the time, they usually go bump it up to the 1 inch because you're looking for future use. And
That's what Bob and I were.
Everybody keeps adding more and more tile to a system,
Yeah,
and, I mean,
that's kind of where we were leaning.
that's what I would recommend doing.
Okay,
Then the other big decision, you want plastic, you want regular tile?
again,
We don't care, whatever the guy wants.
Ethan back there. I was gonna say, which corner you wanna look at over here?
The plastic
comes this way, the tile goes that way.
right.
Hey, is this plastic that is bid here, is that the stuff sitting over in Eagle Grove out in the old feed,
On the,
gray stuff?
on the east, or west side of the highway, yeah. Yeah,
That's
it's
what
gray
this is.
color instead of our traditional black.
What are the pros and cons of concrete versus plastic?
Got an hour? No, there's just a lot to consider.
Okay.
Concrete's a very proven product, over 100 years on some systems. Plastic is also a good product. You just have to be a lot more careful with installation with the plastic. And because of that, what we spec'd here was having crushed stone bedding on the whole pipe, just to try and extend the life of the material. Florida DOT's done a recent study on plastic, and their comments are, if you encase it in crushed stone, you're gonna get competitive life to concrete, at least 50 years. The product itself, plastic does not deteriorate, that's unusual for it too. Under load is when you have problems. Again, that's why we fell back to the crushed stone.
And all of these bids include the crushed stone, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct,
All right.
yes. These are comparable now.
Plastic has less joints.
Less joints,
They have
absolutely,
longer sticks.
yes.
8 foot
It's
versus-
light to work with,
What are those, 20?
13 or 20, and they're gasketed. So
Yeah.
There's gonna be no infiltration, no wrapping joints, et cetera.
yeah.
The installation is probably easier with plastic.
Typically, yeah,
When
depending
they-
on the conditions, but
Yeah, with either pipe, if you reach unstable conditions, you just have to put larger rock down. And there's a cover level that where we increase the strength of the concrete too, just to be safe.
Yeah.
So,
Different types of pipe.
yes.
What's the depth with this?
Some of this is like close to 20 feet of cut, isn't it? trying to remember, close to 20 feet of cut, so some of it's pretty deep. You wouldn't think of it out there like that.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's...
No, but there's a fair amount approaching 20 feet in depth, so.
It's surprising you don't hit rock when you go that deep.
Yeah, and we've checked all the way around this site, and what we found on the west project, the sister to this one, is that the elevation of the limestone in the road ditch is high enough, we have to check in the field to be sure it's not gonna be a problem. And hopefully that's happening today,
Yeah.
on the Burns property. So, anyway, I've checked the two RCP, low, and they're fine. And, I should check the poly. Who'd you say was low in the poly?
Right.
Right. Okay.
Half inch and a 1 inch bowl.
Well, I just went with one, because that's what they said, was they were leaning towards one.
Oh, sure.
Bruce, are you guys familiar with all these contractors?
Holland, we just got done with the project with them. They did.
Never underground.
Denver does a real good job.
Wrightsville's done projects for it
Wrightsville
too.
does projects. This,
What was the second one you said, Steve?
Holland,
Yes.
Forest City.
I'm familiar with that
Intimately
name.
familiar with Holland.
Is Green, is that a new company?
I haven't
No,
built
they've done a lot of subdivisions here in Humboldt.
Huh.
Who has?
much.
Oh,
There was a company up there that was doing a lot of hog buildings, I didn't know if they combined names or something.
Oh, they're all good contractors, all of
Okay,
them.
okay.
Denver's in town, they're doing that city,
City Street, if there's sewer up there.
the sewer up across, the one that come down the old, by the city shed. They're the ones that took that, along there, and they closed the Main Street Bridge,
Okay.
cut it up across there. That's who was there, yeah.
Here, you said you're familiar with Holland, they're
They're good,
good?
very good. Very good to work with, very forthright in what they do, and they do a really good job.
I know I've heard that name.
Very,
many times.
very conscientious. I mean, you go out there and they'll tell you, this day, to me, not a contract you gotta worry about keeping an eye on. Anytime you get somebody that
Yeah, and we don't know about that.
then, you know what I mean? I mean, that's a biased opinion, but I'm not towards them, but just my opinion is that you want someone that, here's the plans, go out and do it, and they do it, and they do what you're supposed to.
Well, I've certainly heard the name. With
Yeah.
me, Gardner, I'm only 11 miles from
There you go, right, yeah, they've done a lot of work, they've been around a long time, and, having, like I said, Nate, pretty funny, but the intimate, is to finish up the project of District 33, really took a lot of contact with them, and they're extremely good
It's
to
a
work
rock
with,
that's
and
making
without
this
all
bid
the
high
work
to
they did.
PP.
Oh,
They
yeah,
do really
yeah,
good.
absolutely.
So that's always a good.
We have it engineered where we say groove trench is fine.
Yeah.
But your installation time, for this project, if you had the 30 days of good digging, would you be able to, when you're doing 13 or 20-foot sticks, so
Yeah.
you're making a lot bigger.
I would say they would lay our pipe quicker, I'm sure. You don't have to wrap the joints, you actually get a gasketed joint versus butt in and wrap it with fabric, so.
Get a tight
And as
joint.
we know with drainage projects, a lot of the problems are at joint, whether it be a fitting or didn't get butted up correctly or whatever the case may be, so.
And your fittings are more of a, you saw a hole in the pipe that pops in.
We would
with a
either
gasket.
do, like wraparound couplers, or we could even do belt fittings.
Well, it's probably, the two low, 1 inch and half inch math checks too.
And the cost share on this was 75%, right? Of the
Yes, yes.
$180,000 roughly.
And they look at total costs, they'll look at engineering, easements, they'll pay 75% of everything.
Of the half inch.
Yes, of half inch.
Okay. Well, do you have any recommendations from the board?
This is a good time to ask questions, because we have the contractors here.
Yeah.
And you look at these bid numbers going across, and obviously there's huge discrepancy, especially on the polypropylene. Good discussion about that. I just wanna ask, Mr. Reitzel, you must have some knowledge and experience with that type.
We've done them before.
I mean, because this is just, when I look at raw numbers, that's considerably less, and then good discussion from our representative there. Just quicker,
It's quicker, yep,
the connections are quicker, I mean, anything you gotta hook into it's quicker.
yep.
Your, personal opinion of the longevity of it,
That'd be a good question.
We have 100-year service life, 100-year service life, so. And obviously the pipe,
Like Richard said, it doesn't deteriorate.
no, it's not gonna go anywhere.
And you're speaking
It's,
concrete?
36, I think.
Okay, and you're speaking what kind of material?
Plastic.
Plastic.
That's just, I mean, when you look at that, and all, Reitzel's not, very competitive bid numbers. It's just when you get to the polypropylene.
24 inch on the
Apparently, some
1
people
inch,
just don't even want to consider it.
18 inch on the half inch.
They just don't even want us to consider it. I have some knowledge on that, and two, that,
The one that wants to downfall is the same one, if you get all the
24, we ended up at 21 on the half inch for polypropylene. Don't remember what the issue was there. And then,
all this polypropylene
24 on the
is
1
dead,
inch.
that
What
rock
challenge we have to
throughout
cover some places, that might
the
be
whole
the
project.
what it's called.
How
The
much,
what?
what's the least cover we have in any point?
Regardless
Oh, I'd have
of
to
that.
check on this one.
Not a concern.
But it isn't like it was out there.
No,
where
no,
you
it's
end up
not
with-
this,
I was
no.
Holland Contracting, and you're not gonna beat that
I'm familiar with Holland Contracting, not, maybe I've talked to you, but at any rate,
I'm Ray first.
Ray, I have talked to you.
Yes.
So not you personally, but I'm familiar with your other counterparts from the company, and that's what I got from every last
Yeah, the
one.
sizes are...
From the guy down in the ditch, to the machine, to the foreman, it was all concrete. And, you know, I'm not gonna argue that, I just think this is a good time for the discussion of the options.
Well, I didn't wanna sit here and not say anything.
No, no, and, well noted, I mean, those are the guys putting it in, it's just interesting when you see the differential in
Bruce,
numbers.
I'm gonna go here in about 2 minutes, so...
Rick, you're putting a lot of pressure on us.
I know, I do have a funeral I have to step out for, so, I'm gonna turn the meeting over to Bruce here. We've had good discussion, and we got good numbers here.
So just for the sake of discussion, I'd move we accept $254,908.40 from Holland for the 1 inch coated concrete.
Well, I spend that kind of money, I always have to call my wife so I don't get in trouble. And I hate to think that, you know, you're gonna spend that kind of money, but when we know what you get with the concrete, I guess I'd second that motion, and I like the ability to know it's 100 years.
I have a first and a second, any more discussion?
This, how much input to the landowners, I mean, we decide on it, it looks good, the bids are all good bids, like Rick said.
We entertain discussion from that.
Bob and I are in agreement with that.
Okay.
We feel that's fine.
She would have the most acres draining into it.
Yeah. And I think from our past discussion with different farmers and different projects, they all almost always wanna go with the inch.
Yeah, no, I don't have any really argument on anything other than just, this is the time to discuss the options, and
Yeah.
that's a definite viable option, pretty comfortable with the whole program in that respect.
And both are, the plastic and the concrete are both 24s, right?
Yes, yes, correct.
So I think you're,
All righty. If not, I'll have a call for, I guess we have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries.
Appreciate everybody's
Very
very competitive.
Yeah, very good.
All right,
Yes.
Bruce, it's all gonna be all yours.
thanks, Rick.
we're getting the limestone.
Great.
I've dug
Talk to you on the
Marshall
phone. Yeah, it's nice to see you out and about.
38 today, he was gonna be.
Yeah, absolutely.
He will move bales if it needs be. It's a vision thing more than anything. He said you can
Yeah.
get through there, so hopefully a lot of these are getting taken care of. Yeah,
Did
take care of
you
it.
sign
Okay.
that change over for the pond?
No, I have not. I can come back.
Okay,
I'll
I'll just
stop
tell
back.
Peggy if she comes back.
I'll stop.
Okay.
Just like that, it's all
May I
over.
ask, you see how it is, since I grew up in Humboldt?
Oh, yeah.
That's my sister's
So is that all you have, Rick, or you?
No.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's why,
Yeah.
yes.
Mr. Lynch is on the agenda. Can I have a moment, laundry and drainage? September 12th, 2016, we met here in this courthouse. The supervisors voted to go ahead and to give half the interest rate back to the DD2 project that we had just completed over there in Gilmore. It was said that it was gonna be within 30 days. I think my 30 days are up. I don't think it's that hard to figure out. The total bill for interest is on the final sheet that we had. Take it and divide it by 2. You've got your reclassification, take the dollars and divide it by your reclassification numbers, and the money should be in the mail. And I think that should be done. I think it's been lack of that, and I think it needs to be taken care of. The other thing that I had asked, 6 or 7 years ago, we annexed in property into DD2 up at Gilmore City. That was first annexed in a long time ago. We got about 3 years ago, we had a bill in the mail for the dredge cleanout for DD2, and I asked if those new annexed acres got a bill for that cleanout. And I have never heard the answer to that. I know the answer to that because I went and looked at the whole sheet. They did not. Even though they were annexed into the district, they should have paid for that dredge cleanout, and they never did.
So they were annexed before the cleanout?
We were annexed about 6 or 7 years ago, when DD2
Okay.
first project started to put all
Yeah.
those drainage wells closed.
Yep.
They were annexed into that project.
Okay.
Then, about 3 years after that, or 4 years after that first annexation, we got a bill in the mail for dredge cleanout. And everybody in town thought that was the bill for the whole big project, and it was just for dredge cleanout. But the people that were annexed in never got a bill for that, because it wasn't on the old reclassification when you rewrote it.
Okay.
Because you hadn't got the new reclassification done to include them on that drainage district cleanout.
Well, we still should be able to figure out what their cost should be for that cleanout using the...
But I've asked you this question before, Rick, and I've never got any
Well-
farther than this way
Well,
right here. And this is as far as I got, so I'm putting it public one more time. You know, it needs to be cleaned up.
We don't levy, but we need to work with Trish to see that it's taken care of, I guess.
And prove me wrong, maybe they have paid it, but
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that according to the sheet, they didn't, but
I don't have any answers because it was before mine.
yes, it was.
So I don't wanna throw it in your lap, but do you have any ideas? Well, all I can say is
We'll talk today.
You know, and then the other thing was, I know that you were here, Bruce, and that voted a year ago, that you as supervisors voted to go ahead and lower the interest rate, because most of the interest on that project is held by the county warrants.
Right.
And they're 6% warrants, and you said that you're gonna lower them down to 3% warrants. That's what you said. And the only thing you had to check was the other people that held warrants, and that was Rick's firm that held most of the other warrants.
Right.
And they had to talk to them and make sure they would be okay with lowering their warrants too. And nothing has ever happened with that process since that time.
I'm sure we said we were okay.
At the meeting, you didn't say, and they were gonna look into it, and that's as far as we've got.
I'll say publicly, we're fine with it.
Well, then we'll have to,
More work. Sorry.
Check in,
More work.
and get it straightened out.
yeah, we'll get it figured
I just,
out.
as long as you're in
We'll get you an
drainage,
answer back.
as long as you're in drainage, I thought I'd just mention that out there.
Appreciate it.
So, no, you don't, that's okay.
No,
We need to clean it up.
It needs to be cleaned up before you start another project
Yeah.
here.
That'll be a levy.
You need to clean it up before you start another
We
project.
will.
in the district.
Appreciate it.
I thought
Definitely.
that sounded way too high also, Bob.
Well, that's what your new project's gonna have, probably, unless you talk to them right now. Will the new project also have 6% interest, or the?
I thought that sounded very high when you mentioned, when I asked.
We set it a little high so the contractors can sell their warrants. The treasurer's been able to take nearly all of them, which helps. But we set them high enough that if the contractor is paid with warrants, that they can sell them on the open market and get their cash, because the contractors typically need their working capital.
Yeah.
They can't hold the stamped warrants. That's why. Now, you can pay off any of them anytime, or a bank loan if you need to. Somebody
Yeah.
told me that's 3 to 4% or something, some people
No,
can
these are
get.
warrants that you are gonna charge, or the project's gonna charge, is what you're talking, not
Yeah,
what
yeah.
she's gonna have.
Well,
She
yeah.
won't get her bill for another 3 years.
Well, it should be just over a year from now, I think, because we're calling for this project to be done.
Okay.
So, yeah, the contractor has to be paid in these warrants, because that's the way we wrote the specs. So, but as soon as the project is closed out, you can pay your parcels off to minimize the interest.
How soon do you have to have money? Not for a year, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
It won't be levied for probably that long.
Yeah, it'll be levied next fall, if we get it finished this fall, basically. So there'll be interest on accumulating during that
What's
time.
the proposed completion date on this?
This year yet. December 1st.
December 1st, so...
What, December 1st?
December 1st completion, so this season.
Okay.
So we levy twice a year now, so depending upon the legalities of wrapping up the project, it would be no later than that.
Right.
And that's when
Right.
the interest would start?
The interest will start from the completion of the project.
Okay.
And
Correct?
I'm not sure how you handle,
No.
It's accruing right now.
That's right.
As soon as the bill is issued,
you paid us in a warrant, so that's accruing interest.
it's
So the bottom line of that is, that's been a real point of reference to get this wrapped up, these projects, as quick as possible.
Yes.
To get it levied, which reduces the overall interest.
Yeah, levy probably wouldn't meet those prices.
So, you know, we can't
No.
promise anything at this point, you've gotta get the project started and get it completed, but we know all that, we want everything expedited.
Yeah.
Your points are extremely well taken, because there was lack of expediency with some things in the past,
There was over
and that's not the only one,
No,
and,
it was a 2 or 3 year project on the final say of it,
Yes.
versus this 1 year like this one should be.
yes,
Right.
bingo.
Right.
So, everything present and even past, and certainly future, is consensus of the drainage trustees to expedite these things. And it obviously reduces the interest.
Yeah.
We want things done quicker, and, points are well taken. So it's not just past, it's present and future. So, as quick as possible.
Okay, that $2,500 bond that I wrote in January, for what does that cover? Or is that been used, or what?
if the project goes forward, it is reimbursed to you,
Okay,
so it'll be reimbursed to you.
okay, thank you.
So Bob, we will check up on the interest on the number 2,
Thank you, Bruce.
and we will also check up on the annex, the land that was annexed in, and make sure that
Okay.
those people pay their share. Okay, I understand you talked with Mr. Marcel.
Yes, I talked to him last week, a couple of times, and the way we left it Friday was he was gonna come midweek this week. Well, one call didn't get taken care of, locates didn't get taken care of on another job he was on, so he's there today
Okay.
on 38. Now, he had told me Friday, if if they need hay out of that field, he would be willing to bring them up past that hole. I guess he said you can get through there okay, but they were concerned about the person moving it in their vision that it would be a hazard.
Well, it's,
So,
regardless, it's a hole and he doesn't wanna dump his tractor in there.
there you go,
and end up with-
exactly. Well, Doug's up there now, right now.
Hopefully Jim is too, 'cause
I
he
hope
called
so.
me when I was walking in this morning.
'Cause Doug told me he was gonna call Jim
Good.
and talk to him about it
And I think
last
Lois is
week.
going to.
And if they're running out of hay or whatever, he'd help move bales to get that past this few days here. Doug hesitated to do everything he need to fill that hole until they know exactly what they're gonna do with the rest of it. Because he'd have to put a lot of rock in there,
So we can go up and explore up?
yes, further north, yep.
Then, what is the other, something else I was gonna ask you.
So I'm gonna catch Doug while I'm in the area
All right.
today, and see what he's finding out.
Well, the pond,
Yeah, we've got the change order today. Last week, I think it was Monday, they requested a change order to adjust all the quantities. So we had that to them the next day. That's all the items adjusted. It includes adjusting every item to contract, or to final quantities.
so that will put them
That'll put them...
hopefully on property ASAP?
Yes, they have told me 2 or 3 times, their subcontractor's ready to go. So this will put them under contract to complete that pond. And they wanted towards the end of September, just to be sure they were okay, in case they get a rainy spell or something. But actually, this is prime time to be doing this, July and August. So, yeah, this change order will get them under
So the change
contract.
order's signed, they're gonna have their people on site, and we can call Mark and say the last piece of the puzzle has been put in.
There you go, yes.
Because
And I
I'm gonna do
tried call him after we talked, and I just got the recording, but I explained what was happening, and that we were preparing this and bringing it.
Okay, I'll let him know.
Okay, that'd be good. And I'll talk to them, Denver, and see if they can give me a date.
Well, that would be awesome, 'cause...
Yeah, we'd need to know.
Getting back to the expediency thing, this is
Yeah.
far from it.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
It's just for what, I know most of the reasons for the
Yeah.
pond thing, but it's really gotta get, and you're right, this is absolutely the time to be.
oh, it's perfect, and this gets them under contract.
Rick said he's stop by.
You can sign it and it can be done, because you're...
I'm not-
Rick, all things being equal, what do
You're
you
the boss.
think the timeline on actually getting it?
I'm not-
Done?
Yeah.
I move we have the vice chairman
Come on.
sign the change order
Okay.
as stated.
We gotta get it in place, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah. And Denver is gonna do the pipe work, and they said few days for the pipe work, so,
That'd be awesome.
yeah.
And that would be, I mean, we're talking done.
Yeah, we're talking completely done, yes.
We got a motion by Carl that
Second.
I signed this, just so it's done.
Already done.
We got a
Okay.
motion and a second, I already signed it, so, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those same sign, motion's carried.
Thank you. We'll
That
stay,
piece of the puzzle is done.
one good thing, there won't be much engineering on this pond, because, the contractor that's doing the dirt work is GPS equipped on all their equipment. So we give them a layer, we call it, just of elevations for finished elevations, and then they can just let their GPS equipment
They can keep
control
track of what
machines
they're
and,
doing.
yes. So it just saves a lot of staking time, and the accuracy is great on that stuff, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, if I have to cover that being I signed it, it's gonna be quite a squabble at the bank, so they want to make sure that...
Yeah.
You're fine, Bruce.
Yeah.
Cookie jar.
It's to the level I have to talk to his wife.
Yeah, he'd be talking to more than his wife on that one.
That one probably would cause
Yeah.
a serious problem, but... Anything else, Rick?
Let's see, bid letting, change order.
Have you anything
Oh.
on, out north of town with, Dial and...
Everything's progressing.
Progressing.
Yes, we're on schedule to, I told them what we needed to do was get a exact location on the existing tile, flow lines, so we really can't do that till the crop comes out.
Right.
Once crop comes out, Dial said he can run he's got a plow that's GPS controlled, and he has his tile locate, the county main located GPS-wise. He's gonna use his tile, plow and just gouge the surface along the route of the tile through all his ground, and then we'll get our GPS down here and get actual locates on that. But we still need to dig it up, be sure exactly where it is through everybody's property, because we're going to pull out the old tile and put in a new one in its spot. So, it's gonna be a fall, bid letting and probably a start, but I had told them it'd be next spring before things get finished up. It's just, there's too much.
That's too big a project, yeah.
Yeah, so,
I'm really worried about that, where that empties out there by the cemetery, and you look at that.
we've talked
mess
about
of that
flying
there.
all of that, and now, when our guys are down here, they're gonna go out to the airport and talk to them. If it's like the Esterville Airport, they said, thank you for letting us know. You know, we'll only be in the air an hour or two.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Especially right there at the bottom, that's the approach.
Yes, so, well, if they say no, I'm not sure what we'll do, but we haven't talked to them yet, so.
All right.
I told you we're digging, Brian Gemlin is digging up the rock, hopefully, out on, Burns property, the west. We can, elevation-wise, we can serve both ag wells easy, but because the west ag well is high enough, we can come up and miss the rock going across the road. But if we have to go over to the east one, we need to know what the elevation's that is at, because we'd be into the rock, it's the same as the one at the road, so.
Well, that's what we had discussed, I think, just a week ago, and
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure it happened this fast, but
That's
it's,
fantastic.
when we needed permission now, that project will have to pay for about an acre of crop loss, probably, I figured.
Yeah, but in the grand scheme of things,
Yeah, that's
Oh.
pretty minor.
Nothing,
All right.
so,
excellent.
I've gotten all kinds of calls on sub 5 of 11, as you can imagine. I think that's it.
Anybody else got anything else?
Well, Rick, you know, yeah, the sub 511 thing, let's be all helpful towards the decision-making.
Absolutely.
And I'm not gonna name any names, you're, you know, involved, you have the information, I'm sure, you know, that,
Yeah.
and that's not you're gonna give it to somebody, but if there's, and that was the discussion when you were figuring the bids, that it's a flux process right now on that project.
Yes, it is.
And the hearing is August 21st, which isn't very far off. at this point.
No.
So, we need to get, we're just here to be helpful. You know, Rick's here to be helpful. We wanna be helpful. We want these people to make an informed, good decision. And I won't go into what I've heard here and talked to folks the last week or so. There's some discourse amongst the landowners in that district, you know,
Mhm.
going back and forth. I think they just need to get all the information out in front of them to make an informed decision.
Take majority rule,
What's that, Carl?
take majority rule in that situation.
It is still, but yeah, I think the private project is still, it is very viable, but and we talked about it, Rick brought up legitimate concerns, but we don't wanna get the concerns to be roadblock.
No.
It's still a cost saving, there's real concern there, and I'll just say, I won't mention any names, I don't want it to become a tug of war, for appropriate way to say it, between, you know, this faction and this faction in that. And then what'll
Right.
happen is nothing will get accomplished.
Right, that's the whole
There-
thing.
That's the problem, and the folks there, it is a needed project. It
Oh,
is a
yes,
needed project, and this is what I've seen, and,
Well, the good thing was, is from just the discussion from when it was first proposed and the alternative route draining it,
yes.
they've figured out that, A, going the way they first wanted to do it, it wasn't, a good option for the location of where it was gonna go in, right?
Well,
And they changed
the
that.
big thing was the cost.
Cost.
Yeah. We're going into a ditch that should be fine, it's where it's going now.
Right.
So that's not a
But
problem.
I'm saying with their conversations, from the way it started and the way they proposed it, they've also changed that now, and
Yes,
so,
yes.
at least they're talking. They just gotta get all of everybody to get the same page and agree on what they're gonna do.
That's the ultimate goal, and there's a few questions along those
Yes.
lines, and if you have, and you do have most of the information.
Yes, yes.
Please pass that along.
Oh, I
to
have been.
Parties
I
that
was
be,
on,
you know, and I don't wanna, you know, get this in any personal matter anyway, and that's why I'm not gonna mention any landowners or any other names, but, yeah, it's really to the fairness of the landowners. They're the ones that are paying for this one way, shape, or form.
Right.
And they're just, and I understand their concerns, I'd like to see that get resolved, because they have the information that they need to make their informed decision amongst themselves. I mean, that's what all, even
Yeah.
on the drainage district side, that's what it
Yeah.
amounts to. Otherwise, I foresee this tug of war, I'd say it differently if it wasn't a public meeting, but the tug of war amongst the landowners, and I also foresee that being a stalemate.
the landowners have had very good questions. Now, one thing that Dave Huntermark didn't have completely in his mind was, this sub-district has never been reclassified, so everybody in sub-5 has a vote as far as remonstrance for stopping this tile job. Everyone,
Even up above.
even up above. Now, this district should be split into open ditch classification and tile classification, but it never has been. So, the hearing coming up, when we look at checking on remonstrance, we have to use everybody who has ground in sub-5, even the ones that just use the ditch. So, now, I have worked up a list of who is drained by the tile and how many acres do they have, because this could be shot down, and then they could ask for a reclassification, then we'd need that list for checking remonstrance. But right now, everybody drained by either the open ditch or the tile in sub-5 have a say in remonstrance.
Well, those are the key things that we have to know, that
Mhm.
because when we go to that hearing, we don't wanna look like we're standing here scratching our head saying,
Right.
oh, well, we didn't realize we didn't.
Right.
But
And all
we
these
weren't
things,
prepared, we weren't, whatever.
Right,
precisely, and all these things are really out on the table and are known issues or
Right.
concerns,
right,
so let's just get them figured out.
yeah.
So that.
Oh, absolutely.
Perfect.
Otherwise, I gotta, you know, just my personal opinion or my gut feeling that we're gonna get to that hearing date, and it's not gonna go well.
Concerned by 2 or 3 landowners I have talked to is, we've got 12 or 13 landowners that have to agree now and for all future maintenance.
Yeah.
Can they do it? It's possible.
Well,
I
I
know
think-
of one with 6 or 7 in Palo Alto County that's working.
Yeah. It's all doable.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, I mean, the
Yes,
private.
yes,
Bottom
either way
line
is
is, the
doable.
private project is most doable. It is not some facetious.
Oh, no, the
project.
elevation is there, no, it's doable, it's just the hurdles you have to jump through.
Well, and then just those hurdles are the answers to those
Right.
hurdles and those
Yes,
questions.
yes.
You have to get, and get that out, and so everybody,
And I've told
including
any-
us,
Yeah.
understand it.
I've told anybody that's called me, call again. If we can take care of most of the questions ahead of the hearing, it's all the better.
Well, that's what we wanna do.
Yeah.
Like Bruce said, we don't wanna sit here like, and bring this all up 3 weeks from now, or give or take.
Right.
And it's like, whoa, that's all.
Never
We'd like
thought
to
of
have
that.
that all
Yeah,
done. prior.
exactly.
All right.
Good deal, that's what I've got on that
And I'll
project.
call and talk to Mark.
Thank
So
you.
we got the changes taken care of, and I'm hopefully gonna hear from
And I will,
the Buffalo.
yes, yes,
It's
yes,
moving.
yes.
So now, we're gonna let sunshine, or you, is that all you got anything else?
She's got enough.
I move we go out green.
I got a motion,
I'll second that.
and then a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Thank you, Rick.
You bet,
Thanks, Rick.
thank you,
Yeah.
yeah. Call as
Thank
things
you.
come up, I will check with Doug today before I leave the area.
Okay.
Oh, I know one thing I should mention. Our tech that arranges staking was out on DD Joint 3-47 cleanout. He talked to you, didn't he? Did Jason talk to you? Well, he went out with the contractor to have them knock down corn where we're gonna put our stakes in. Well, wrong field. we knocked down 2 rows of corn for 1,300 feet. We'll pay for it, absolutely, no question. But it's gonna come up.
Okay.
And
When you say we, that, you just went in the wrong field, so your company...
our company
Well,
went...
the farmer knows,
Farmer knows, he's irate, well, I don't, yeah.
I mean, he knows it was a mess up.
Yeah, he knows it was, our guy left a lath out there on each end with his card on it, with an explanation written on the lath.
Does she know the name?
I don't know she does.
Well, make sure you let her know that, so that if the...
But as far as the bottom line of that is, it was a mistake.
Mistake
You
on
know it
our
was,
part,
you
we
covered
know it was, we admitted it while we were still on site.
Perfect.
And we will take care of it. Now, here's, it's 2 rows right along the right of way. Even if we discover those 2 acres, 2 rows, it's not 2 acres. If we discover those 2 rows are in the right of way, we're still gonna pay for it, because he would've got to harvest it.
That was good.
So-
That's
Make
good.
sure she knows the name, so that if the phone call comes, she's not lost
There you go.
by someone.
Yes,
Yes.
excellent.
Mr. Chairman, about a 2 to 3 minute brief recess.
We can do that.
Thank you.
We'll take a 2-minute break while Rick gets his stuff out and Paul moves in.
There you go.
Thank you. Are these all the same, or?